Okay, today is April the 6th, 2017, and right now at 9:30 p.m. we have a temperature of 57 degrees. The relative humidity is 76%, the dew point is 50 degrees, and the barometer is reading 29.97 inches. And today we had extremely heavy chemtrail spraying. The aerosols blanketed the entire Southern California area, and that stopped any rain from this giant storm system. We can see part of that frontal system moving into Southern California. Here on these maps, we've got the water vapor map here. We can see all that moisture moving in. And at 2 o'clock today, the relative humidity at 2 p.m. was 32% near the foothills. Okay, with all this moisture moving in, we had 32% humidity. And of course, the sun's gone down, so we've got much higher humidity right now, 76%. But it should be raining. Yesterday and today, we should have had rain from all this. That shows us just how much control these terrorists have over our weather. Okay, now we also have some interesting things going on right here on this map. We can see a hole opening up right there. And if we look at the pressure maps right here, let's take a look. Look at all these squiggly lines right over here. Let's look at the 500 real quick and the 300. Mainly on the 300, we see a lot of squiggly lines where this manipulation is occurring, mainly on the surface map and the 300 millibar. A lot of squiggly lines. So there's a lot of manipulation going on here to prevent this moisture from swinging down into the very southern part of California and San Diego and all these areas, Los Angeles, and all the way down to the border. That's pretty obvious. All right, let's go back to these maps. And we can see a right angle. This is a microwave generated right angle on the center of that 985 millibar storm. And that is heating the core of that storm and preventing this system from gaining any strength as it moves right towards California and Oregon. So we can see a right angle right there pretty much. We can stop the loop and run through it. We can see those angles right there, very straight angles, very straight edges. That is most likely generated from a microwave transmitter, space-based. If we recall, the Strategic Defense Initiative was launched during the Reagan years back in the 80s, and the SDR program is all about satellite defense, being able to take out intercontinental ballistic missiles using a variety of techniques, lasers and other jamming techniques. But this is nothing new. That is satellite defense systems. That's nothing new. And so this activity here is most likely satellite based. And what we're seeing in the center here is very little rotation as a result of all that descending air. And we should be having rain. But the chemtrail aerosols being sprayed has stopped that here in Southern California. Let's look at the, take a look at the Doppler map here right now. And that's not coming up. We'll have to fix that. Okay, in the meantime, let's go take a look at some of these articles I've found here. Now this is a situation that happened back on January 2nd, 2011. There was a storm on New Year's Eve that was over Arkansas, and on January 1st and 2nd, thousands of birds fell out of the sky in Arkansas. I remember this on the news, and I believe that what's causing this, and this is not only in Arkansas, but I've got articles from Louisiana, hundreds of birds found dead, falling out of the sky in Louisiana. Here's another example. Here's another one. This is the medical report from CNN. They talk about massive hemorrhaging, internal blood clotting, internal bleeding, all evidence of possibly being hit with microwave. Here's another article right here from Davis County, Utah. We have another instance of hundreds of birds falling out of the sky, dead. And finally, we have another one here. thousands of snow geese fall dead from sky in Idaho. This occurred on March 17th, 2015, just about a little over 2 years ago. And none of these articles speculate as to how this happened. A couple of people suggested that it was the birds were sick, they were diseased, and they all just decided to fall out of the sky at the same time. One person did mention the weather, a lightning strike, but none of that makes any sense. What makes more sense is that these birds were at the wrong place at the wrong time during a storm, and they got hit with microwave. Now, if we go back to the April 2nd video I made here just a few days ago on April 2nd, there was a great example of how these weather controllers superheat and destroy thunderstorm systems that are moving over populated areas. In the case of the April 2nd video, it was over Texas, and there's some great evidence of how they target those thunderstorms. Now, if there's a flock of birds flying anywhere under that beam, they're going to get superheated, they're going to get zapped, and that's exactly what's happening here. So this technology is alive and well. The mainstream media is lying to everybody just about on everything. Okay. So I just wanted to show these. The CNN article, they did some research. Several of these birds, a lot of them were autopsied, and they found massive internal bleeding, and that would indicate that their capillaries were superheated. The blood and very, very small capillaries could boil, and of course, boiling blood, any kind of boiling fluid expands, and that's what would cause the hemorrhaging in the arteries and in the capillaries of these little animals. Okay, so these articles are easy to find on the internet, and I encourage everyone to look at this evidence for what it is. Birds just don't fall out of the sky. So let's go back and see if we can get this Doppler map working. There it is. And we can see that right over Southern California, there's not much rain. Everything is right about San Luis Obispo and further north. So the chemtrails have done their job of stopping the rain. We had a complete blanket of aerosols today, most of the day, all day long, except for the sunset. Things started to blow away, but that's what stopped our rain today. Let's look at the bigger picture. We can see the area of high pressure out here over the Hawaiian Islands is still parked in place, and the high pressure is evaporating the jet stream moisture. We can see that right here. What they've done is they've effectively cut off the moisture supply of the jet stream right here. Let's look at this in the infrared loop. We see very little moisture right here. It's all been cut off by that high pressure. So this storm has no more moisture right about here. That's the end of the road for that. So once this moves through California, that's it. We'll pump the pressure back up, and we'll be back in the 80s for early April. So that's what they're doing here. They've manipulated the jet stream. We can see the flow pattern right here. This should be one solid blue stream of moisture right here. That would bring us a week of rain, and that would really help things down here in parched Southern California. All right, so here we see that right angle in both of these maps. A lot of manipulation, actually. And there's very little rotation right in the very center, where all that heat, all that descending air is actually descending air spins clockwise, and of course that counteracts the natural counterclockwise spinning motion there. So they are weakening that system. That's what they do. These transmitters weaken these systems, and eventually they split the frontal system away. And once again, we see that manipulation right here. Got a transmitter that is separating. Right here, we can see a separation in both of these frontal systems, one here and one here. And then right on that last frame, right there, and throughout this loop, right there, we see this area open up, and that's where we see all that manipulation on the pressure map. So there is an effort to stop the rain in Southern California. Here's the sea level, or rather the surface analysis map. You can see that storm right there. This is a 985 millibar storm moving to the northeast. Right here, we've got three lows, two over Canada, one over Oregon, with a big trough shown right here. And so we should be getting rain. But again, as I keep repeating, the chemtrails stop the rain, caps the atmosphere, and causes a capping inversion layer. We have to have two things for precipitation. We have to have lift and moisture. And we've got the moisture. You can see the moisture right there moving in with no lift because of the chemtrail aerosols. Get this back in center. Got the moisture moving in with no lift because of the chemtrail blanket. Okay, so that's the report. We've got the swell report right here. That storm is generating 21-foot seas right off of Central California. And again, we've got this system right here. We've got a low pressure system right up near Alaska, a gale force system. Okay, so that's the report, and we'll leave it right here and do another update tomorrow.